Okay. Let's do another prayer. Sarah, do you want to open this up in prayer?
Lord, thank you for the people that are here today. Pray that you would just bless them today in this week. We pray for those that are not here, that you would heal them, bring them back to us safely. Pray for the health of this body, both spiritually and physically, that you would just put your hands around us and be with us as we go through our week. And pray for the speakers today, that you would just give them your word and your spirit and to speak through them what you would like us to hear. We thank you for this country that we live in and for the freedoms that we have and the challenges that we go through currently. God, we know that you're sovereign and that you're with us, and we pray that you would give our leaders strength and perseverance as we go through.
Amen. Oh my gosh. Low battery. I think there's some back here. There we go. All right. So this is going to be kind of a open discussion. Wanted to get some of your guys' thoughts. Hey Freya, I'm trying to talk up here.
I've asked you to stop.
So I was late on Wednesday to the prayer meeting. So I kind of got the tail end of it. I think, did you guys kind of mention what went down with the Charlie Kirk situation?
I don't think we kind of mentioned a little bit, but not to discuss very much about it.
I didn't really want to talk about that, but I did want to talk about some kind of thoughts that came to mind out of that event. Everybody, I'm assuming everybody's aware of what happened? And who Charlie Kirk was?
I didn't know who it was until that day.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Well, according to one of my friends, he's like a big, not a politics, but he's a big, debater
Yeah.
on social media and stuff. But, there's, a lot of...
He's like an influencer. He's just like a social media influencer person. Except for he comes at it from a Christian-ish perspective.
Yeah, and he goes around to colleges and debates them, one of his talking points is how college is a scam, the majority of college is a scam. But definitely
Christian Taylor Swift.
what's that?
He's the Republican Christian Taylor Swift.
He definitely has a huge following with the young people.
He had a friend who works in the high school as a social worker, and she was saying that to them, it probably equates to Martin Luther King Jr. So it's like we were talking, I didn't know who it was.
Right.
But we talked about that that situation, to a lot of these high schoolers that are on social media.
Right.
That is who, that's what
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are equating his assassination to, like Martin Luther King or even Kennedy, and just in terms of, the effect on people. But I wanted to I think, well, one thing I wanted to just kind of mention, I'm not huge on, the sermons about technology and all that, but I feel like this device can be very corrosive. And one instance was very evident last week when I picked up Blake from soccer practice. His team were watching a video of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which is very graphic for someone of kids of their age. We're not built to see,
Even as adults, we're not
right,
to see that level of violence.
to see that level of violence, especially, it's one thing to be to see it in person, which has obviously has a different effect than watching a video of it in
In 4K
it.
repeatedly.
Yeah, it definitely. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but it has to desensitize kids, or even adults, to sit and watch a video like that. And then, I mean, obviously it does. What were your friends saying when they were watching it? Just watching it? The fact just to be able to sit and rewatch a video like that is evidence to how it can desensitize you. I mean,
Takes away the idea that that person who got shot is a human.
right,
A real life person who got flesh and blood.
right,
And family and parents and people.
yeah. Which I think the reaction, if you were actually there, I just think about my time in the military. I had to pull out 2 dead bodies in my 4 years in the military as a swimmer, and just the smells, the feel, there's this person that is no different than a dead animal now, in terms of, like, he's no longer animated, and it's just a vessel of flesh. Just it affected me. And I think I spent the better part of an hour and a half in the shower, and they had to actually pull me out because especially the first body had been in the water for who knows how many days. Yeah. So I kept thinking that I had dead skin on myself and I couldn't wash it off. And I just think that, to me, that had almost like a positive effect, because it just reminded me of the value that life, each person, no matter, this was a drug runner, but just to see someone that was executed in that condition, knowing what he may have went through, just affected me. But when you're sitting watching something like that on the screen, it doesn't have that effect. It's a different effect. It's a bad effect. Right. 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 Yeah, you couple that video with the number of people that are celebrating that event is right. Right. So yeah, Laura, I definitely think you have how can you not? It almost devalues life.
It makes
Right.
like watching Call of Duty or whatever.
So that's my first thought. So, you know, for those of us that have children, it is just, you gotta, I mean, I'm not a helicopter parent, but when it comes to technology and what kids are viewing, we definitely have to be involved in that. Thankfully, Blake didn't watch the video.
I think with the social media, especially using your discernment to realize that like what you see and what you're fed from the algorithm is completely different than like what Julia sees and what Julia is fed. And you make your opinion on this person or on this event based
Right.
off of what the technology feeds you. And so you
Right.
can see these clips of this person saying these things, and the other person next to you has no idea this
Right.
person has said these things. And you can get completely different opinions
Right.
on
And
how righteous
it
this
has a
person
way of
has been.
it has a way of reaffirming your
Reaffirming your
ideology.
Yeah.
Even crazy, you know,
And not
like
realizing, oh, like
this,
person is just a human.
yeah.
This person is not some glorified.
right? Like this person that, you know, assassinated Mr. Kirk, he, you know, before technology, if you had way out there ideas, it usually was shunned down by society, and that kind of quashed your motivations, or, you know, you almost, yeah, kept them in check. Now you can find 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 other people with the same crazy ideas on social media and reaffirm your ideology.
There's this psychologist that I do follow and things, and he was sharing the different with this brought up, and then a lot of people when they watch this video said them other videos of like a break painting girl getting, you can watch her get stabbed and killed, and people just watch her die on a bus, and it keeps getting fed that, and the commentary, like what is different about that than when we were in school, and let's say 9/11 happened, and you're in college or high school, and you're told about it. It's a very controlled, informed way.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, you're watching people share their internal thoughts. Like the danger of social media is that their internal thoughts are being shared out loud and then validated because now you went through that algorithm.
Right.
So some of these people who like maybe have an ideology about, assassinating someone, they get fed other people that have those ideologies and those things that you put in check. Like, oh, I thought it. Like, oh gosh, that person really frustrated me. I wish I could just run them off the road or something like that. You say that out loud for other people to read, and then like that's the difference in processing it, right? Where you don't internalize it, you don't take it in, you're sharing those thoughts that maybe should be out there, and then you're fed.
Yeah.
And then they use that, like I saw one the other day where they had the shooting of Charlie Kirk and the aftermath. They had all these people at all these services, and they equated it to the death of Rodney King. And they use it to manipulate people into thinking, oh, look how great these people are and how bad these people are. Because at Rodney King, they rioted. And here they're doing perjury. Well, they're two totally separate types of incidents.
Right.
One was a police action, and one was a guy, a 22-year-old kid shooting some guy because of some ideology. But they give people to buy into it by giving them little snippets of it, and you don't equate it. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same incident. It's not the same type of scenario. But they use it and they manipulate all of us into thinking a certain way, or thinking, oh, this is good, or these people are good.
Or it brings all the crazies together and validates because we're fed that, oh, someone else said this person that like should just be killed, right? Or like die or disappear. And then you get, oh, that's validating my internal thought. And then now, and then you just keep getting fed that, and then.
Right.
So how do you undo it?
Well, don't use social media, for one.
Discernment when you're watching these things and critical thinking. And like,
I
is
don't-
this person?
I don't ever comment at all.
No,
It doesn't matter. It tracks what you watch, and it tracks like how long you stay on a video, how long you scroll through like clips.
It also like catches like weird
What you pause
bend
on.
in your conversation. We went to that coffee shop yesterday. I've never looked at the coffee shop or like repeated. You know how many ads I had yesterday for like coffee and
Hmm.
because thing. So it's like knowing that and being aware of that.
Yeah.
My late son's had interest in social media, he's bullied on it, and without having it early on, and he wants nothing. Found out from kids at school that there's videos of him online bullying him, so he wants nothing to do with it. Which I'm like, thank God I don't have to have that battle. But then part of me is like, well, one day when he wants to, he hasn't been like, I don't know. So the older where he doesn't want to hear from you, and part of me was like, well, do I expose him to some of it now so he can be taught those things? But
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Going back to your, question, part of what I want to talk about is, our responsibility as being the truth and light of the world. We're in a unique position where we have a perspective, hopefully developed by Christ and the Holy Spirit that, when you hear, like one of the discussions going around at work is, this guy was a leftist, it became this left versus right. Yeah. And, that's when someone like us, should speak up and say, it doesn't matter their political viewpoints, It shouldn't be about us versus them. It was, the left-leaning or far left or far right person is just as important, to God, and should be thought of as the same. It shouldn't be based on someone's political viewpoint.
The videos that I had watched,
Can you talk a little louder?
the videos that I had watched of his debate, though, he was defending his faith.
that's what the algorithm fed you. Now do a deeper dive and find where he says some pretty inflammatory things about other people and how they deserve to die.
You watch the whole speeches first.
He's a human just like everybody else, says things that he probably regrets. And you cannot depend on what social media feeds you to be the full, complete truth. You have to use discernment to understand that it's feeding you 15-second clips of this person, and you cannot depend on that to know a person's true motivations and true self. You can't. Just because it's a 15-second clip of him defending his faith, it's not the full scope, it's not the full picture, it's fake. It's entertainment.
Colossians 2:8. See to it that no one takes you captive through hollow and deceptive philosophy, which depends on human tradition and the elemental spiritual forces of this world, rather than on Christ.
Now, I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm just saying you
Yeah.
cannot
And I
build
did
a relationship with someone you don't know.
right.
And we do not know him. We have clips of him, just like we have clips of Britney Spears and clips of Taylor Swift and clips of Barack Obama. We don't know these people.
Yeah.
We don't know truly what they stand for.
And I don't want to make this about him. This is more about how we respond. And another important thought I wanted to bring up. He was kind of basically the founder and owner of Turning Point. And now that he's gone, who knows what's going to happen with that organization. But he was essentially the focal point of that, of that organization. And there's no one like him within that organization. And that got me thinking about us in the church and how we rely on single individuals to be successful as a body of Christ. I think about Pastor Joe and what would happen if Pastor Joe and Lord decided to move somewhere else, or years down the road, hopefully, when they pass, what happens to this body?
That is a valid question, because if you're not building the body up now,
Yeah.
I mean, Joe is 60,
No one lives forever.
at some point,
Yeah. And I think about the Church of Roy. If it wasn't for Bo, I mean, what would happen to that church? It would probably, well, I don't, it's just speculation, but
very likely it would stop.
it would dissolve, maybe.
But even there, they don't have the plan, because Bo isn't even the pastor, he just speaks.
Right.
There's like a lesson there.
And that's why I think, that's why I wanted to bring up, I think all the more important for us to individually be responsible for or being able to carry on the role of the church in the event that someone like Pastor Joe leaves, or someone like Bo leaves. We have to, I hope each of us don't see church as just a lifestyle, a club, that we're each actively doing our part, learning about God, and therefore in the event that we are without a leader, a pastor, it's not that far of a, it's not hard for one of us to step up and keep going, or any of us. Men should be prepared to lead each and every day. We should always be struggling to learn more about Scripture. And I wonder why, I wonder about the hesitancy to come up here and teach. Is it because we feel like we are going to be seen as stupid, or we just feel like we don't know enough? And it shouldn't matter. Look at the people we're surrounded by. We're not judgmental people. I think most of us would be happy to see, someone up here that doesn't really have a lot of skill. I'm an engineer. The least skill I have is public speaking and debate. But I feel like with you guys, it doesn't matter. We're here to fellowship and learn. And, along with the women, nothing says a woman can't get up here and teach.
I did have something to share. I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah. And speaking about women, in this scenario, it brought to mind Ruth. So I wanted to read Ruth real quick. Ruth chapter 1. Back in the days when the judges were judging, at a time when there was a famine in the land, a certain man named Beth-Leshem went to live in the territory of Moab. He, his wife, and his 2 sons. The man's name was Elimelech, his wife's name was Naomi, and his 2 sons were named Machlon and Chilion. They were Ephraim from Beth-Leshem in Judea. They arrived in the plain of Moab and settled there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left. She and her 2 sons, they took wives for themselves from the women of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth. They lived there for about 10 years. Then Machlon and Chilion died, both of them, and the woman was left with neither her 2 sons nor her husband. So she prepared to return with her daughters-in-law from the plain of Moab, for in the plain of Moab she had heard how Adonai had paid attention to his people by giving them food. She left the place where she was with her 2 daughters-in-law and took the road leading back to Judah. Naomi said to her 2 daughters-in-law, "Each of you go back to your mother's house. May Adonai show grace to you as you did to those who died and to me. May Adonai grant you security in the home of a new husband." Then she kissed them, but they began weeping aloud. They said to her, "No, we want to return with you to your people, And Naomi said, "Go back, my daughters. Why do you want to go with me? Do I still have sons in my womb who could not become your husbands? Go back, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. Even if I were to say, I still have hope, even if I had a husband tonight and bore sons, would you wait for them until they grew up? Would you refuse to marry just for them? No, my daughters, on your behalf, I feel very bitter that the hand of Adonai has gone out against me." Again, they wept aloud, and then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth stuck with her. She said, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her God. Go back after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Don't press me to leave you and stop following you, for wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May Adonai bring terrible curses on me, and worse ones as well, if anything but death separates you and me." When Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more to her. So the two of them went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole city was stirred with excitement over them. The women asked, "Can this be Naomi?" "Don't call me Naomi," which means pleasant, she answered them. "Call me Mara," which means bitter, because Shaddai has made my life very bitter. I went out full, and Adonai has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? Adonai has testified against me. Shaddai has afflicted me. This is how Naomi returned, with Ruth, the woman from Moab, her daughter-in-law, accompanying her from the plain of Moab. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. I guess I'll keep going. Naomi had a relative on her husband's side, a prominent and wealthy member of Elimelech's clan, whose name was Boaz. Ruth, the woman from Moab, said to Naomi, "Let me go into the field and glean ears of grain behind anyone who will allow me to." She answered her, "Go, my daughter." So she set out, arrived in the field, and gleaned behind the reapers. She happened to be in the part of the field that belonged to Boaz from Elimelech's clan. When Boaz arrived from Bethlehem, he said to the reapers, "Adonai be with you." And they answered him, "Adonai bless you." Then Boaz asked his servant supervising the reapers, "Whose girl is this?" And the servant supervising the reaper answered, "She's a girl from Moab who returned with Naomi from the plan of Moab. She said, 'Please let me glean and gather what falls from the sheaves behind the reapers.' So she went and has kept it from morning until now, except for a little rest in the shelter." And Boaz said to Ruth, "Did you hear that, my daughter? Don't go to glean in another field. Don't leave this place, but stick here with my working girls. Keep your eyes on whichever field the reapers are working in, and follow the girls. I've ordered the young men not to bother you. Whenever you get thirsty, go and drink from the water jars that the young men have filled." I'll stop there. What I really wanted to capture out of this is, in a scenario where we lose a pastor, thinking about both Naomi and Ruth, we may find that there are members who, are discouraged, like Naomi became discouraged, obviously. To be put in a position where her husband and two sons are gone. There may be members who become discouraged because they've relied on our leader so much, and so there needs to be those of us who are willing to take on Bruce's position and be supportive, and reassure him that this community we have here isn't going anywhere. you know, we'll keep on going, we'll keep growing. And then, you know, like Naomi, just, you know, all of us need to be willing to, you know, even though, I mean, I would be, if we lost Pastor, I'd be devastated and I'd be scared. I mean, he does so much for this body, but, you know, push through that, rely on God and step up, you know. And I was thinking about Peter too. Peter, speaking about losing, you know, your leader, the focal point to your movement, you know, Peter he denied his leader 3 times and was called out by Jesus. And so I can't imagine, you know, once Jesus was crucified and died, I mean, I can't imagine, you know, here the sole reason for the movement has left, has died. What do we do now? And not only that, but I denied him 3 times. You know, how shameful I would feel. It'd be easy to just, you know, give up but Peter got past that and obviously, you know, continued on to do miraculous things through Christ. So that's really what I wanted to talk about in my thoughts with what happened last week. Any other thoughts or comments?
Whole body or here to hear that. I think it's an important thing to remember. Because there will be a time. It will come.
I don't want to be like that organization. I don't want us to rely so much on one individual and find ourselves fading out if they leave.
I've been in churches where we lost our pastor. I'm at my home church. We lost our pastor. The men in the church stepped up, and it was such a blessing to see that. And then Pastor Lonnie would help us out, you know, in the action and service. We eventually, the male home eventually went to Conroy Church and merged into Conroy Church. But it was tough.
Yeah.
You know, I got discouraged, and I was actually the first one to go. Went to Conroy Church, and then soon after, male home went to Conroy Church. So I've experienced two pastors from male home. One stepped down, the other one passed away.
Yeah. Then there's a scenario where you take on a pastor that not everybody likes or agrees with. You know, then what do you do?
Church I work for is going through an interim pastor retired, and it's their, if it's the church is very organized, Catholic churches, so they're assigned to the interim person until they hire a person, and they're coming in and immediately, not just like, oh, I'm here, how do you want it done, and what do you want, like, we're changing this, we're changing times, this is what I believe, and they're just dealing with this. Interesting to watch it. It's scary, like, it makes me think about it.
Yeah.
Outside perspective, and you have to be very careful of that person and that role when it changes. And it doesn't align.
Yeah.
But also using empathy to realize the human motivations behind that person wanting to make choices and changes. They want to belong, they want to feel like they have a say, they're new coming in, and they want to make it their own. And that's a very real human emotion. Not necessarily a great Christian one, but
A lot of the,
you're your new leader, so now it's for them watching it happen. All these people who believe and they have these mission statements, having someone come in and tell them that what they're doing is not what they believe and telling them to believe certain ways. Like that's a huge.
I feel like that should have been the first step before putting them in that position to align their,
yeah.
like this type of stuff.
They tried to, right? But then, like, and they had all those meetings and stuff.
I'm thinking of Roy in particular, and at least, you know, to me, the last option, you know, is the first option that a lot of people take, and that's to go somewhere else, right? We don't really have that convenience of being able to just peace out and go somewhere else. At least I,
That aligns with our current.
right. This is the community that we've been put in. This is the church that we've been called to.
When you get in that position like Roy did, because Jack stepped down, and Cliff was pastor there, and then Jack and Cliff had a lot of, different opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cliff left the church, and then Jack was preaching, and then Greg came in.
Was it Greg or Josh?
Oh, Josh was there. Was it Josh and then Greg, or Greg and then Josh?
I don't remember.
So both of them came in, both of them were probably more of a desperate choice than a God-led choice. Because the people hadn't had a plan for when Jack couldn't do it anymore. Or wasn't going to be there anymore. And they're still not recovered from that because now they're very hesitant to even try to find a new pastor. They're content to have Bo just sit there and teach without any title.
Yeah.
The lack of planning put them in this place, and they made these rash decisions, and then they're like, they didn't work out, so now we're just going to do nothing. Which is not healthy either.
Yeah.
Because it puts a lot of burden on Bo. Without any real support.
Yeah.
Although they do have a nice church area.
I don't think they're too different, though, than the first century churches in terms of how they're structured right now. A lot of them didn't have called out leaders, you know. I mean, that was kind of the job of the apostles. Not necessarily to lead, but to just ensure that they're on the right track. So, yeah. And women, hopefully, you know, you ladies feel, I'd like to see more ladies up here teaching too.
I'd like to see more men in Sunday school.
That's true. Yeah, I shouldn't say you're not teaching. You are teaching. Actually, your teaching is probably more important. Fresh minds. All right, that's all I had. Thank you.